Vance is on the right side of almost everything. The only chink in Vance's armor lately, Mahgdalen, is that, and I guess Trump must have gotten to him and told him, look, you got to soften the abortion stance, is that J.D. Vance is one of those that is now saying, no, we're only going to oppose nationally or have a ban on late-term abortions. So Vance is not the staunch life begins at conception, at least through policy anyway. I know him personally. I say I know him personally. I interviewed him once, and I know Catholics that know him, and they tell me that he's the real deal.
He's definitely the real deal, and I think one of the things that's been big for him is that while he's been in the Senate, he's been on the right side of most legislation, and he hasn't compromised. And one of the things that was sort of the litmus test amongst young conservatives specifically, and amongst evangelical young conservatives, was whether or not the person that Trump picked as VP would be somebody who would be around, first of all, in 2028, who'd even want to run, who'd want to have a political future. And if that person that is his VP choice is somebody whose policies they could align with, yes, of course, we probably could have gotten behind Youngkin. I don't think it would have been dangerous to the party in the same way. But J.D. Vance signals that when Trump is done in politics because he constitutionally can't be president anymore, that he is ready to push for right-wing policies. And I also think the other factor here is that J.D. Vance will wipe the floor with Kamala Harris in the debate in a way that Youngkin won't. J.D. Vance is the kind of guy who will say to her, you are in charge of the border and all those beautiful American girls have died and it's your fault. And I don't think Youngkin would have said that.
That is a very shrewd analysis there. Mahgdalen Rose, our digital strategist and campaign affairs correspondent here on the Crusade Radio Network on the Dude Maker hotline here with us. Let me ask you, just personally, are you excited?
I am excited, and I think that it's one of the things that it signals that Trump is not as naive as he was before. Because I think when a few years ago, maybe even before he was almost assassinated, Trump was of the position that you need to bring the party together and you need moderation. And now he's of the opinion that we need to have hard right policies, that it has to be a wipeout. And I think that that's a good thing. I wasn't a big fan of J.D. Vance in terms of the Senate race in the midterms because I thought he could win on his own. He didn't need endless Trump endorsement. But obviously what Trump got from those hours spent with J.D. Vance in the campaign trail in Ohio in 2022 was a real knowledge of who he was as a person. So during all this VP discussion, I think that was the thing that J.D. Vance had a leg up with compared to other people because he spent so many hours with Trump. He has crafted a campaign strategy with Trump before in Ohio. So he got something that other people didn't, and that was what nobody else could overcome when trying to become Trump's VP.
And let me tell you something else about the J.D. Vance story here and a story that's going to develop. I'm just going to go ahead and predict it to you, all of you out there listening and watching here on our YouTube, on the Roku, and wherever you are on the Crusade Radio Network. J.D. Vance was also one of those that asked the correct questions of the director of the FBI and others over the FBI's attempt to infiltrate, spy upon, and then to, I guess, after infiltrating and spying upon, to try to arrest good, practicing Roman Catholics. You know, the whole thing that the whistleblower Kyle Seraphin blew open. For young Catholic voters out there who may not have been interested in this, they're going to be very interested in this now. But wait for this, Mahgdalen, and all of you out there. Be prepared, you people, especially if you're a Catholic. And it may matter to evangelicals and Protestant denominations, too, to watch this, the way this is going to play out. This is going to be a all-hands-on-deck Vance. The radical nutcase Catholic must be stopped. You watch. You watch. They're going to go after J.D. for his faith, and he's very devout. You know, J.D. Vance runs in that circle with Father Altman, with Mel Gibson, with Kevin James, with Father Chad Ripperger. Very devout conservative. Of course, we have some opinions on all of these. Very devout conservative Catholics. He's a convert to the faith, and you know they say converts are the best verts. This is a fantastic pick, but don't think that the legacy Malachian satanic media is going to let J.D. Vance anywhere near the White House without completely and totally savaging this man because of his faith. And it's going to come out.
It is going to come out, and I will tell you that amongst traditional Catholics, the young Catholics, the ones who want the Latin Mass back, there was a big push for J.D. Vance. And you and I have discussed this before. The Republican Party sort of strays away from Catholics and doesn't want to talk to Catholics unless, of course, they need a Supreme Court justice. And then it's all about, can we get a Catholic? This is going to be the first time we have a hard right Catholic in that area of power in a very long time, if ever. And I think there's a lot of pressure on J.D. Vance to uphold that because Biden has been such a buffet table Catholic, picking what he wants and then somehow supporting third trimester abortion. So J.D. Vance has a real opportunity here. He also has an Indian wife, so it's a very much a modern America in the way that it's not about diversity, it's about putting together families and faith and all of that. And I also think it's not since JFK that we've had a Catholic presence like this in the White House. So we might see a big return to the Catholic faith and inspiring other young conservatives to consider Catholicism for the first time in decades.
Magdalene. Hi, Benna. Hello, Benna. How are you? That's Magdalene's little girl. A perfect analysis. And yes, it's not since not since JFK has there been a Catholic in the White House. I don't believe. Reagan had Bush, no Catholic. Bush had Quayle. I do not believe Quayle was. Bush 43 had Cheney. Nope. Of course, Trump had Pence. No. Pence was actually a heretic. He was a baptized Catholic and swore off of the faith and became whatever he was. Of course, he was also a political hack and a backstabber here. So for Trump to go out on a limb here, but and pick J.D. Vance, who is a very conservative, and for all of you that are evangelical Christians out there, you're not going to have any issues with J.D. Vance's stances on social moral issues. He's going to deliver you right down the line with marriage, with the homosexuality thing, with the transgender thing, with abortion and issues of life. So Trump can I'm going to defer to JD. I'm going to put JD as head of our outreach to pro-life. This may stop also the defection that I think was in the works for the pieces of the party platform that they took out that were pro-life.
I think that's true, and I think one of the things with this pick is it sort of assuages the fears, like you said, that evangelicals have. Because there is an idea that Trump is not a socially conservative, but nobody can question whether or not he's going to support social conservative values now. I mean, maybe if he picked young Ken, Marco Rubio, he just flip-flops on everything. But picking J.D. Vance, J.D. Vance is the bane of neocon Republicans in the Senate's existence. He tortures them, and he does it in this way that's very casual. So he'll show up in jeans and just a nice shirt, and everyone's standing up there in their suits with all their knowledge, and he's the only one anybody cares about.
Yeah, it is a wow. I have not been excited about since Trump 2016, of course. Certainly not. I thought that Mike Pence was the worst decision that he ever made. Of course, it turned out to be an awful, terrible decision. But for conservatives, for movement conservatives, and this would include the older ones, this is the most exciting development in presidential politics since Sarah Palin.
It definitely is. And I think what's interesting is that they provide a similar thing. So Sarah Palin was the counter to John McCain's lacklusterness. J.D. Vance is sort of the next step in Trump's populism. He provides a more nuanced explanation of it. One thing you're hearing everyone talk about J.D. Vance is how articulate he is. He's extremely articulate. And this is something that will be helpful for Trump because we can all love Trump, but we all know he's not always that articulate. J.D. Vance can explain the concepts that Trump runs on, and he can explain them to those Republicans that are always a little bit on the fence. To me, this is a good pick. I think that there were other good options. But if Trump wants to ensure the future stability of populism and right-wing policies within the Republican Party, it had to be J.D. Vance. Even though other people could have served him, J.D. Vance is best for one-on-one access.
Yeah, we'll talk some more about this in our pregame coverage this evening at 6:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. That's 5:30 Central. Magdalene, thank you very much for your contribution. I could tell that you're excited, and I very much look forward to you getting out there and talking to all those young conservatives, or beginning to talk to them to get their feedback on this.
Definitely. I'm already working the context. And the one thing I can tell you is that young conservatives currently at the RNC convention from multiple organizations are all ecstatic. There's no sadness, and there would have been sadness if it was somebody like Marco Rubio.
Okay. Mahgdalen Rose, our digital strategist and campaign affairs correspondent. Thank you very much, Mahgdalen. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Folks, huge news. Just to recap here on the Crusade Radio Network. And by the way, going out to all of our stations down the line, you are all free to pick this up. And on our YouTube channel, Crusade Radio Network on YouTube, we're going to cover this entire convention. I told you back in January we were going to do this. And
Parrot.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the Dude Maker hotline here quickly. But before I do, I had J.D. Vance on my card. I said he was an 8-5 morning line favorite. I gave you 4 8-5 morning line favorites. If you ever go to the racetrack and play the ponies, you know what 8-5 means. So 8-5 is pretty. It's good betting odds. It's a small return. You make a $5 bet, you get $8 back. So you a little bit more than doubling your money here. The fact that Trump has actually done this here now again. I'm going to just throw a little caution out there. Be excited. This is very exciting. Remember, the FBI infiltrated Catholic groups where guys like J.D. Vance hangs out. He's members of. I am. Speaking of, let's go to the other Dude Maker hotline. Mike Parrott hosts Parrot Talk here on the Crusade Radio Network, a radical, an RTC in his own right. As a matter of fact, he may be the king of all the RTCs. Mr. Parrott, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm just the Duke. I'm accountable to the High King, sir. Nice to be with you.
First question out the gun. Surprised?
I am surprised. You know, because here's why. This was a disciplined decision, I think, by Trump. He knew this is very, very tactical. He knew this is the guy that we all wanted. And Trump likes to throw curveballs in the end. He likes to be unpredictable and have a surprise. He, I thought, was probably going to go back to like Nikki Haley or someone completely boring just to be extremely safe and appeal to the middle or whatever it is. I'm surprised that he's steering into his movement with J.D. Vance. So, yes, I'm surprised. I know you're not, but you're older than I am, and you've seen more than I have. But I'm surprised.
No, I am surprised. I am surprised. But then again, you know, I should know. I'm like a Trump expert. I should know this. I know the guy. I know how he thinks. And I've been covering him since 1992. I've been reading him since 1988. And certainly, of course, in earnest the last 8 years here. I didn't see this one coming, though. But I did say earlier that if he did pick J.D. Vance, it would be the biggest, most exciting choice in presidential politics since John McCain chose Sarah Palin.
Yeah. This is going to be earth-shattering. It may not seem that way to the untrained eye. So to the untrained eye, it's like, okay, a white guy Republican chose a white guy Republican. What's so revolutionary about that? Let me tell you what's so revolutionary about that. This is a man who was brought into the Catholic faith as an adult, and he is a traditional Latin Mass Catholic. He's very tratty, brought in through St. Gertrude Priory in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is, it's probably being surveilled, and not just because Vance was there, but because of who they are.
Wow!
This is putting a Catholic into power that honestly has not happened since 1964 or 60. You know, was 66.
1960, 1962, Kennedy.
62.
Right. And
this is something that I think we should all be watching very, very closely. And if Vance gets around Trump, I mean, I don't want to put the cart before the horse and be super excited about this, but King Dude, imagine Trump converting.
No, I have imagined it. I prayed for it. I'm sure you have. And I'm sure hundreds of thousands, if not millions of other Catholics have. As a matter of fact, you know, I said something on Twitter on Sunday. I'm sure you saw it. Trump saying what he said about, I think I'm here because of God. He's one affirmation away from becoming Constantine the Great Part 2. Mm-hmm. Picking Vance, Mike, I kind of got chills and goosebumps because I'm going like, holy crap. He is going to put a traditional, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to look at the camera. I cannot explain, if you don't know, I cannot impress it upon you with greater excitement than to say that if you wanted someone that was really going to go to Mordor and go like, no, we're not doing that. No, Mr. President, don't do that. No. You need to do this, and it would be in keeping in line with your very, very devout Christian conservative values. You would send me.
Yeah.
Well, you just did. You would send Mike Parrott. You would send Mike Parrott.
That basically happened.
You just did. You're sending one of us. This, as a matter of fact, this is like a pinch me moment. It's so incredible that has the mother of our Redeemer like going like, okay, I've heard all of you guys' prayers for 60 years now, 70 years, however long. Okay, I'm going to give this country one more shot. I talked to my son, and I talked him out of meteor striking you bastards, okay? I'm going to give you one more shot. We're going to give you Vance. We're going to give you JD. If you blow it, though, the meteor's coming.
You know, after the assassination attempt, a lot of the talk over the last 48 hours has been Trump needs to pick someone who's as radical as he is because that way that's assassination insurance. Obviously, Trump has just maybe took that to heart. I don't know what percentage of that came into this decision. Well, but you have to know he didn't choose Vance 48 hours ago or even yesterday. He probably had selected him a month ago. I mean, Trump is he's a five-dimensional chess player, and I think I am so excited right now. I mean, gosh. I hope it's not, you know what I mean? I don't want to get wrapped up into this tidal wave of emotion, but this is really very exciting. To me, this is way more exciting than Sarah Palin. That broad, she's just an empty apron. I mean, she's so boring compared to J.D. Vance. And you can't knock the guy. This is a guy who served in the Marine Corps, went to war, he was a lawyer, worked in private equity. He's done all the things that you're supposed to do. You know, went to Yale Law School, etc. But he is a working class. His parents split up when he was a child. He didn't have a silver spoon in his mouth. He had to enlist in the Marine Corps just to get his college paid for. I mean, this is a guy who has worked his ass off, and he believes what we all believe.
Dude wrote a book called Hillbilly Elegy. He bemoaned the family. I mean, his roots are West Virginia. I interviewed him, Mike, when the book came out in 2014. I was then on speaking terms with Rod Dreher, and Dreher's like, Mike, you ought to interview J.D. Vance. I said, I'd love to, and Dreher was high on Hillbilly Elegy. As a matter of fact, Dreher might have driven J.D. to write that book. But I interviewed J.D. When I interviewed J.D. back in 2014, just before his conversion, I have to tell you, I didn't think it was a very good interview. I thought he was kind of boring. But that is not the Senator Vance of today and now, soon to be Vice President of the United States. I tell you what, if they had conspired to put a bullet in Trump's head yesterday, what must the demons be thinking now? Are they going to move up from bullets to howitzers?
You know, the announcement too, the manner in which the announcement was made. I don't know if you commented about that while I was rushing to the telephone to call in. Trump is making all of his major announcements on Truth Social, and this is driving people bananas. Okay, typically I'm used to, hey, I'm going to introduce you my running mate, and the running mate walks out from behind the stage, and Trump would be like, this is my running mate, and then both would give a speech, and then they would endorse each other, and it would just be like a big bro fest. This is just a post on Truth Social. And you have to wonder, and I have to wonder out loud because I have to question everything right now. You have to wonder if Trump's not thinking to himself, I can't even appear in public with J.D. Vance right now. We have to survive until the nomination is actually complete. Because if they take out Trump, you know what I mean? What if they actually succeed in assassinating him tomorrow?
Is this Don Jr. that's on right now, Justin? Is that Don Jr.?
Yeah,
you see that. You see the intelligence, and you hear his.
But according to Fox News, they've already got the nomination is complete. Trump is the nominee.
Okay.
He's already secured the votes for it.
Here is Donald Trump Jr., I believe.
November 5th, and if the Democrats get their way, they'll drag it on till 2:30, 4 in the morning. Otherwise, so we have to stay in the game. He's a guy that can go to the Rust Belt, to the places like Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania and articulate that case. He's lived an incredible American dream story, and when more people figure that out, I think they'll see that I was probably really, really correct and sort of my choice.
Do you feel like he can lead? There's been some criticism that he doesn't have enough political experience. He's a freshman senator from Ohio, not enough
had zero political experience. He led us to peace deals in the Middle East, the greatest job economy in the world, incredible prosperity for everyone with no experience. If experience is a marker for Washington, D.C. politics, it's a bad one. How many people do we see that
Parrott,
chair
good
committees
Lord.
that don't know what they're talking about?
I can't take anymore because I'm too excited. Just to hear Don Trump Jr., you're like, no, we don't want political experience. Pretty much what you just said. Now, I want to talk to you for just a second. And I know you got 35 jobs and 7 kids and a beautiful, lovely wife to get to before this evening. And you going to be able to join me this evening?
I'll join you this evening. What time?
I think we're looking 5:30 to 6. We'll just do the I'll contact you directly. You know some guys that know J.D. Vance. I threw some names out earlier. I said, look, Vance is running in the circles. He knows Father Altman, the radical. He knows Mel Gibson. He knows Kevin James. He knows Father Rippiger. He knows all the guys that you know that are that love the Catholic faith. They love the Catholic Church, and they think it's gone off the rails, kind of like the federal government of the United States. Vance came into the church. Now, you mentioned the priory that he came through. Vance came into the church not through the usual means. I mean, this was a conversion story, but he came into the church through the most doctrinaire of doctrinaire Catholics. So I always talk on the Mike Church Show, and you know this, and you talk about it on Parrot Talk. I always talk about the most important thing in young people's lives, you people, and old people like us, we can do this too if we got off to a bad start, is formation. If you have poor philosophical formation, you're going to get poor philosophical choices, okay? You're going to make terrible, modern, worldly choices because your philosophy sucks and you don't have a foundation. Vance already had a hard scrabble, pulled up by the bootstrap foundation. You add traditional Aristotelian philosophy to this, peppered with the accents of St. Thomas Aquinas, which is that seminary, that priory that you mentioned that he went through here. Folks, we're not talking about someone that can be easily pushed around because he can sense the logic bullshit in something. Yes, I just parroted myself. He can sense the logic BS in something, and he can call it out. He can stand there and go like, no, you're just wrong, and here's why. And he doesn't do it in the little, okay, well, I got you on this one because I'm Vince Perry and I talk really fast. No, he actually has the formation to destroy, for example, an argument against anything pro-life. You know that some of these people that he knows. He's kind of like the Harrison Butker of politics, isn't he?
He pretty much is, and imagine, King Dude, there are 400 people on Capitol Hill, maybe 500 elected officials, and between 2 houses of Congress. How many of them are traditional Latin Mass Catholics? 1, and that's the one selected to join Donald Trump in his return to the White House. This makes J.D. Vance potentially the heir apparent, potentially the president of the United States 4 years from now, a traditional Roman Catholic who does know all those people that you mentioned, that you and I both know. This is something that, this is the counter-revolution. This is how you do it if you can't get, a Catholic nationalist or a fascist or a monarchy or whatever other alternative form. This is how you do it. Then you put a traditional Catholic as close to power as possible, and that's what Donald J. Trump has elected to do.
I'm going to echo the sentiments, and you met him, of my friend John Schroeder. You met him at the first Congress you came to. Former U.S. Navy, worked on a graduate of the United States Naval Academy, worked on submarines. John and I did a walk together, a pilgrimage for Lent 2020, I think. And I was walking with John, and I didn't know he was a Trump guy. And he told me, he goes, Mike, I don't just like Trump. And he used the word, he goes, I effing love Trump. And I'm like, really? And he goes, he goes, there's just something going on here. And if he had made different choices, maybe the deep state wouldn't have eaten him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most radical anti-deep state choice maybe in the history of the United States. No Roman Catholic of any stature or of any kind of the formation that Senator J.D. Vance brings to the table, and that would include John Fitzgerald Kennedy, no Roman Catholic of his stature has ever gotten this close. It just hasn't happened.
Let me tell you why you're true. Why what you said is true, and I know why you're saying it. John F. Kennedy was culturally Catholic. He was a cradle Catholic. It was the New England, Boston Catholic Church, okay? This guy, J.D. Vance, is an intellectual Catholic. He chose the faith. He chose his confirmation saint to be St. Augustine of Hippo for a reason. And he said that St. Augustine is who converted him because he made so much sense. I mean, you are exactly right, King Dude. We have never had someone like this anywhere close to the White House in the history of these United States.
Of course, you know that I chose St. Augustine as my patron saint, my confirmation saint. But in 1992, when I did it, I didn't know why. I know why today, but I didn't know why I did it then. It was just, it was Mary, it was Mother Mary, it was Our Lady guiding me back then, going, no, I want you to be Augustine. No, I don't want you to be one of those guys. I want you to be Augustine. The fact that Vance chose Augustine, folks, I'm just going to say to you that this is a great day for the United States of America. This is a great day for the United States of America. Should this electoral victory be achieved, and if on January the 20th, 2025, there is to be inaugurated President Donald John Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, who will then be 40 years old, this will be a most radical change, quite possibly in the history of the postmodern world. This could be the kind of a radical, especially after they tried to kill Trump this weekend. This could be as radical as that. Now, you know a lot more about these revolutions and counter-revolutions than I do. Give me one from Europe in the 20th century that this is comparable to. Franco or any of those?
I don't know that there is a comparable situation in Europe right now. I mean, maybe if Le Pen had pulled off a victory, that would be comparable. And, of course, the deep state in France thwarted her. We're supposed to believe that she went from winning every single primary and territory besides Paris to placing third 2 weeks later. I don't know that there is anything comparable in the last 100 years in which a traditional Roman Catholic who is as well-formed as J.D. Vance, who is as likable, young, energetic, intellectual, capable. I mean, this is. I don't think you're being hyperbolic when you say this is one of the most important moments in American history. I think it is.
Let me echo something that is someone is saying in the chat room at crusadechannel.com/chat. Marketex is saying, let's put it this way: J.D. Vance as president, this is good insurance. They would prefer the orange man bad in the big seat and not Vance.
Yep,
So
I agree with that.
This may be a life insurance policy move, too. Who is it that they would hate more than me, Don Jr.? Who they hate more than me? They're going to hate on someone that appears without the collar and the consecrated hands in persona Christi Senator Vance does. Folks, to reiterate, former President Donald Trump and the leading, well, no, he has been nominated. The nomination is, right, Justin? It's official. Yeah, he has been nominated. His running mate is Senator J.D. Vance. You can start printing the Trump Vance stickers up now. Make America great again. Trump even said it in his announcement on True Social Media. Senator Vance will get us back to the Constitution, hold us to it, is young and is full of energy, is going to do everything he can to help me make America great again. You know, I'll leave you with this, Mike, and I'll let you get back to work so we can pick this up later. My Philosophia Prudentis mentor, Brother Francis Maloof, once told a story in one of his philosophy lectures, and he was in a discussion with some agnostic guy, and Brother Francis also said, I would much rather have to argue with an atheist than an agnostic, because at least the atheist believes in nothing. But Brother Francis said something to the effect when the agnostic goes like, so you know what, we have to watch you guys, Father Feeney, and then we got to watch you guys. You want to convert all of Massachusetts, you want to convert all of Boston, all of Harvard, to your silly little faith. And Father Feeney corrected him, Brother Francis would tell the story, and said, no, we want to convert the world to the faith. We do not stop at borders. And I thought that was one of the most profound things in my young formation I'd ever heard. Vance thinks like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll take it.
And consider the fact that he is now the heir apparent of the Republican Party of the United States of America.
Can you believe that?
He is the heir apparent to the Republican Party. A singular figure like Trump is once in a generation. He'll be dead soon. He's almost 80. And the man standing with the torch is 40-year-old John David Vance. It's astonishing.
For those that have been looking for some kind of a sign, if this isn't your sign, I don't know what is. By the way, for those of you, I'll take your apologies now. You can write them to me. Send $100 checks, P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447. All of you, you know who you little snickering little people out there are. When I told you 2 or 3 years ago, I said, I told you that there was something about Trump that all of you that threw him under the bus, it was like, he's never going to be one of us. He's opposed to this and that to Catholicism, blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't know. I said, maybe God has put that man there for a purpose. We just learned what it may be. And it's bigger than any of us could ever have imagined.
I'm making out my check right now, my $100 apology check.
Send me your $100 apology checks. Yours is on the house. P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70446. Let me get $1 million producer in on this for just a second. Justin, what do you think about all this? He is a Marine. You're a Marine. Mike's a Marine.
I mean, you could go wrong with some Marines. I mean, there's some bad ones out there, but I thought that this does surprise me because I thought Trump would want to shore up his flank side from the Democrats in the Senate and the impeachment crazy. But I guess when you get close to that, you no longer do have to pick that establishment pick. You no longer need them anymore. You can go straight into Trump and as y'all been saying, the heir apparent. So I think it's a solid choice. The shooting over the weekend, he saw the light that, hey, I don't need Rubio, I don't need Berkman, I don't need Fox News's pick to tell me that, hey, Berkman, you got to go with Berkman, That's all out the window now.
It is an incredible day, and again, a great day for the United States of America. Mike, I'll see you this evening. I'll send you some details of when we're going to kick it all off. But I want you to go talk to all your friends that you know. And if any of them want to call in, I'm happy to take the call. Give them the StreamYard link.
Okay, sounds good, sir. We'll see you tonight.
Okay, all right. That's Mike Parrott, host of Parrot Talk here on the Crusade Radio Network. We just picked up 4 subscribers on the YouTube channel while we were doing this, because apparently people are tuning in going, you guys actually do really good coverage of this stuff. Yeah, kinda. Look, if we can't get it right after 33 years, I should quit. I should do what the what the Secret Service director's not going to do. I would resign. Okay. We're going to send you back to the regularly scheduled programming. We will rejoin you tonight. There's a convention started, I want to say it's 7, because it's 4 hours a night. I'm pretty sure the speaker's platform is 4 hours. So it's 7 to 11 Eastern. It's 6 to 10 Central here. I'm in the Central time zone. Let's hear what Youngkin is saying, Governor Youngkin
Trump
of Virginia.
administration, and that they have been constrained during the Biden administration. People feel it, people know it, and that's what this election is about. It's about hope, it's about the future, and I look forward to not just watching Virginia, but America elect Donald Trump the next president.
Thank you, Governor.
Governor, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I got to keep the governor moving.
All right, Aisha, thank you very much. It's a great opportunity down there on the floor. I've done it myself. You can pretty much grab.
Okay, so I just wanted to see what Governor Youngkin was saying.
You could see with his nomination count, he needed 1,215. He's almost got 1,000 over that.
He's at 2261 right now. He needed 1,215 delegates at 2,261. The Republican Party is going into this convention excited, energized, coming together, unified. There is that chink. Again, we talked about it with Joe Doyle on the show this morning, not having the pro-life plank in there. Now makes even less sense, Justin, and all of you. It doesn't make any sense now. Because that is not Vance, although Vance may have had to soften some of his stance in order for Trump to pick him. This is I'm going to go take a little walk and pray a little bit upon this so I could say the right thing this evening. But we will rejoin you at 5:30 p.m. Central. That's 6:30 on the East Coast here. Of course, we're 24/7 here on the Crusade Radio Network. But on the Roku and YouTube channel, the video coverage begins tonight at 5:30 with Mike and I, and Mahgdalen Rose, I believe, will join us for a while. And then we will turn it over to the rostrum, or the roster of convention speakers, which I believe goes for 4 hours. We will jump in from time to time and provide commentary, and also look forward to hearing yours. You can join our live Crusader Stadium chat room at crusadechannel.com/chat. You'll have to be a Founders Pass member to do that, and you should do that today. Anyways, the easiest way to sign up is to download our brand new app in the Google Play and the iTunes Store. Look for Crusade Radio Network, and then when you open the app up for the first time, just say proceed as guest. Once you're in, and you can listen as a guest to the premium stream. Once you're in, then click the hamburger menu or the join button at the purple bar at the bottom of the page. That will take you to the sign up page, and you can sign up right there to become a Founders Pass member. You get access to all of our podcasts, the premium stream 24/7, which is better than the preview stream, the Crusader Stadium chat room, and a discount always on in our Founders Trade and Post store at shop.mikechurch.com. Plus, you strike a blow against the Malachian satanic media, that's the MSM to the rest of you, by becoming a member of the Crusade Radio Network. Again, crusadechannel.com, or just download the new app. Trust me when I tell you, it's the easiest way to listen and to become part of the Crusade Radio Network. For Mahgdalen Rose and Mike Parrott, for our producer, Tommy. Tomethius. What are you going by today? What's your official name? What are we going by today?
Tomethius sounded really good.
I kind of like Tomethius. So when we don't want to say Tommy, we'll say Tomethius. So our producer, Justin Redman, also known as Tomethius, we will rejoin you again, and looking very excited to rejoin you now at 5:30 Central, 6:30 on the East Coast here on the Crusade Radio Network and on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Help us get over our first milestone of 1,000 subscribers there on the Crusade Radio Network. Back to our regularly scheduled programming here on the Crusade Radio Network, live talk radio, live talk and campaign radio, the way it should be.